Alright, so I don't think there are actually any videos of this one on YouTube yet. At a quick glance, this looks like your regular Hoover Hushtone, but actually it is a Hoover Hushtone Cordless. Yeah, so this one was not on the market for very long. I think maybe only a couple years. And this is probably one of the most expensive vacuums that Hoover's ever sold, possibly. Like, I don't know, maybe back in the 1910s, like, maybe they had ones that were like crazy expensive back then because vacuums were brand new technology. But I believe the vacuum itself would have sold for about $600, and each battery would have been $300. And I think it comes with 2 batteries, so you'd be basically paying like Lindhouse SIBO money for one of these. And honestly, I think it's a pretty impressive machine, all things considered. But I guess the market didn't really appreciate it enough. But anyways, so if you're familiar with Hoover Hushtones, you might notice that this hose is a little different, because I believe this is actually what the Insight used, which was Hoover's very blatant SIBO clone, whereas the Hushtone is not as much of a SIBO clone. It's definitely more of its own thing. But yeah, and like the Hoover Insight, it takes the same bags. It takes SB bags specifically, whereas a regular Hushtone is going to take CU2 bags. But these are paper bags, which I think I don't really like to see. Would much rather have what do you call them? Synthetic HEPA bags. This thing never goes on that easy, and I don't get why. All right, so unlike a lot of cordless vacuums, this one has an actual height adjustment. Only 4 settings. You have bare floor, then you have like a high traffic, commercial carpet, and high carpet. I usually leave this one at commercial carpet. I kind of wish I had more height adjustment settings, but honestly, it's better than nothing. We will turn this vacuum around to see what is powering it, and it is this huge battery. Like, God, this thing is gigantic. Get out of there. Yeah, so this is the Hoover M-Power 40 volt. I think these have been replaced by the Hoover Power batteries, but this is basically Hoover's commercial grade battery setup. And it's literally about as tall as that Henry right there. And we'll pull out the Henry's battery just kind of for scale. Yeah, it looks tiny in comparison. And I got 2 batteries with this, like, and I didn't buy this vacuum new. This was a used one, and I'd been looking for one of these for a long time. But yeah, got 2 batteries with it. I only have, okay, I have 2 bars on this, so I should be able to demo it just fine. But yeah, that battery's big and heavy, and while it's actually connected to the vacuum, it's going to be pretty heavy as well. Like, the vacuum is around 20 pounds, so it's not as easy to push as like the SIBO X4. If you can find one of these, definitely try and save it, because these things are kind of lost to, I feel like they're going to be kind of lost to history. Like, they're definitely durable machines, but I just don't think they sold that well. And yeah, so do your duty as a vacuum collector. Save the rare Hoover, even though they're not going to be cheap. I think this one was about $300 or $400, kind of like Henry. Let's do some vacuuming with it. This one this is a single motor upright, has a brush roll with squeegee behind it, kind of like the SIBO X4. And I think it gets good performance. Oh yeah, actually, before we do that, I wanted to draw attention to this hose setup, which is not very good in my opinion. Like, it doesn't pull out as easy as a SIBO hose, and I don't know, it just feels really awkward. And honestly, plastic feels pretty cheap as well. You do get You get a couple tools, a press tool, and a dust brush. But the problem is, I don't think these actually fit like onto the hose handle. So here's the hose handle. But for whatever reason, the attachments don't actually fit on the end of that, which is, I don't know how that made it. I don't know how that made it past the development stage, but yeah, this vacuum's like kind of a weird hybrid between the Insight and the Hushtone. Definitely a cool little piece of Hoover history, if that's your thing. Let's fire it up. And I will say, it does live up to the Hushtone name. It's pretty quiet. I feel like saying you're going to work with. That's a little better. We'll put her on high mode next. So yeah, I think this thing actually gets pretty good runtime in high mode, so I think you probably just end up using that the whole time. But yeah, that is the Hoover Hushtone Cordless. Haven't really touched on the build quality. I feel like in terms of design and build quality, this is a little below like what you'd expect from like a Cibo or a Lenthouse, which is kind of unfortunate because this vacuum's in the same price range. But yeah, it's discontinued now, so I guess TTI doesn't have to worry about that now. So yeah, so next up, I think I got the Pro Team next, so we'll be doing the Pro Team. Stay tuned.